Global Flu Vaccine.
We now have a tornado warning that is going on in southeastern Madison as well as southwestern Stanton counties. This tornado warning goes until 1:45. Let's take a look at what we have going on. We've had a pretty big line of thunderstorms going on so far here in northeast Nebraska. Now there is one area where some rotation is being detected, and that is very close to the Madison, Nebraska area that you see right there. This is Doppler radar indicating some rotation within this storm. So spotters out there have not been able to see a tornado, but based on radar indication, there's the possibility of some rotation taking place. That cell moving to the east at 50 miles per hour. So I'm going near the area where the rotation is. That would leave it near the Clarkson area by about 136 and then into Howells, Nebraska around 144. We're going to go ahead and we're going to grab the velocity scope here and just try to see if we can see any of the reds and greens coming together. And there it is, very close to Madison. You see some of the reds and greens. And remember, that is the Doppler radar being able to see wind coming directly at the radar and directly away from it. So once the reds and the greens are right next to each other, that's some rotation and the possibility of this trying to produce a tornado. So that is why we are watching this area. So again, this is a tornado warning for southeastern Madison as well as southwestern Stanton counties. This goes until 1:45. What should you be doing in this kind of a situation? Well, you need to take cover immediately. Remember, a warning means that there is rotation that has been spotted on Doppler radar in the Madison, Nebraska area. You want to move to an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building and always avoid windows in this kind of a situation. And where you don't want to be is places like a mobile home or a vehicle. Anywhere outdoors obviously is bad. You need to move to the closest substantial structure that you can get to. And that is always a very good idea. Let's go ahead and take our Norfolk cam. Norfolk, Nebraska, you're not involved in this tornado warning specifically, but you're under a severe thunderstorm warning. Very strong thunderstorms with maybe up to 80-mile-per-hour winds are a possibility with a lot of these cells moving through. And that's one thing I really want to stress. I think we always get excited about tornado warnings because obviously tornadoes can be very destructive. But just remember, if you get straight line winds like is going on with some of these storms tonight, and you get those winds around 80 miles per hour, it too can do destructive things just like a smaller tornado can do. So this is, and it covers a bigger area, by the way, so you really got to be careful of that. Let's also go ahead and take our Blackbird Bend Casino cam. I was noticing out on the horizon some lightning starting to show up off that direction. And as of, well, right now I'm not seeing it, but just a few minutes ago I was seeing quite a bit of lightning out on the horizon. And that's an indication of those storms. And you're starting to see a little bit of it there. Those storms that are way off in northeast Nebraska, trying to make their way eastward farther and farther. Remember, we have had reports in the Pierce, Nebraska area of a possible power outage. And we did have reports in Neely, Nebraska of trees being down because of the very gusty winds. In fact, just outside our viewing area in Boone County of Nebraska, there was a report of an 84-mile-per-hour wind gust, I believe it was. So that's a substantial wind that is coming through there. And by the way, I'm seeing that the emergency manager over there in that direction said he was going to activate the sirens. So if you're hearing sirens in the Madison County area or Madison, Nebraska area specifically, probably, this is the reason why right here. A little bit of rotation being detected on radar at this time. And so as a result, a tornado warning is in effect for southeastern Madison and southwestern Stanton counties. And this goes until 1:45. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to back this view out just a little bit just to give you an idea of how big of cluster that this storm actually is right now, because I tell you what, we basically had two areas kind of come together, I got to be honest with you. We had some storms that were getting going around the Holt County region for a while, and then more developed out in north central Nebraska, a little bit farther off to the west. And for just a second here, I'm going to take off the radar data so you can see all the warnings that we are dealing with right now. That is a big area, stretching from northeast of Norfolk all the way down to the Loop City area of Nebraska. And that's well outside the KTIV viewing region, by the way. And then you can see right in there where that tornado warning is, very close to starting in the Madison area right there, and going off to the east of there. And remember that for that tornado warning, it is southeastern Madison and southwestern Stanton counties that are in that. And again, that goes until 1:45. So for about another 25 minutes or so here. I'm going to go ahead and put that radar data back on there. And this gives you a great view of what a big area that we are talking about. So the area of the tornado warning, relatively small in comparison to the entire area of thunderstorms that are ongoing right now. But nevertheless, that entire area, kind of a dangerous place to be. I'm going to take a step back. I want you to look at the movement of these storms. Everything has been moving to the east, southeast, overall pretty rapidly. Anywhere from 30 to 50 miles per hour is what most of these have been coming in at, most of the storm movement, and that continues to be the case. The strongest hail probably out of this going on right where you see that darkest of red, basically in that tornado warning area. And that is often the case. If you get a big supercell thunderstorm forming somewhere, that's going to be more likely to be able to have some rotation with it, which is exactly what we're seeing in the Madison, Nebraska area as we speak. Let's go ahead and take that Norfolk cam again. I tell you what, that is some amazing lightning that we have going on in Norfolk, Nebraska right now. And you can tell it's torrential rain coming down as well. That's the only saving grace out of this. There is some good rain coming down, but obviously if you're getting 70 and 80 mile per hour winds, as has been the case in some areas, not a good situation at all, obviously. There was a report that over a 5-hour time span in O'Neill, Nebraska, a report of 2.34 inches of rain that came down during that time, and almost 1 inch of that fell within 1 hour. So that's when it moved through O'Neill, and now this is what we have moving through much of the rest of northeast Nebraska at this time. I'm taking a look at the National Weather Service chat software. This is where the meteorologists at the National Weather Service kind of give us an idea of what they're thinking. The National Weather Service out of Omaha is seeing a little rotation near Creston at this time. They are saying certainly very strong winds there as well. And a new severe thunderstorm warning is just coming in as well. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this up and see what exactly we have. A new severe thunderstorm warning now in effect for a very large area. And this is kind of what they're doing. They're having to issue for very large areas because of what a huge, massive thunderstorms this is and how quickly they are moving. So the new severe thunderstorm warning that is now in effect is for southeastern Madison, northwestern Burt, southeastern Wayne, Cumming, as well as southwestern Thurston and Stanton counties. Those are all the ones in the KTIV viewing area, and that severe thunderstorm warning goes until 1:45. Basically, we have a line of severe thunderstorms located along a line extending from near Hoskins all the way down to south of Monroe, which is outside the KTIV viewing area. They're saying that region now is moving to the east at 75 miles per hour. The hazard, 80 mile per hour winds a possibility with this, and penny-sized hail. So the penny-sized hail, not a big deal really, to be honest with you. That's not even quite severe-sized hail, but what it is the 80 mile per hour winds that can obviously be very, very destructive. And then right in the heart of that, that is where we are seeing that tornado warning. So we're going to go ahead and go back into here. There is the tornado warning if you look closely, and just so you really see it, I'm going to get rid of that radar data for just a second here so you can see what I'm talking about. There's the tornado warning that we have in effect, and that is again for the Madison County area and on into Stanton County, southeastern Madison and southwestern Stanton counties. A tornado warning that goes until 1:45. We're going to go ahead and put the velocity scope back on this just to see what kind of rotation we're seeing. So that rotation getting to the east of Madison. You can imagine if this cell is moving to the east at somewhere between 50 and maybe up to 75 miles per hour, like some of these storms are moving, it's going to be moving its way on pretty quickly. And as we said, they did say that near Creston there was a little bit of rotation taking place too, and you see Creston just at the bottom of your screen there. So a little bit of rotation right within this area. We haven't had reports of a tornado on the ground as of yet, but there is rotation within this cell. And you can get that sometimes. Sometimes we call them gustnados on the front edge of a line of storms like this. Sometimes you get rotation going on, and sometimes those kinds of tornadoes aren't as big as just a true discrete supercell. A discrete supercell means that a supercell is out there all by itself. Well, that's not the case at all tonight. These are clusters of storms that are all together and trying to produce some 80 mile per hour winds across northeast Nebraska as of right now. So very, very strong winds continuing all through this area. And again, that tornado warning goes until 1:45. I'm going to go ahead and take the velocity scope off here. Want to back this out a little bit. That is the prime area. You can really see how dark the oranges and reds have become through there. Compared to that, places like Wayne, Nebraska, you're not in a warning currently. Wayne proper, part of Wayne County is, but you can see how the colors just aren't quite as dark up that way as what we're seeing a little bit farther down in the southern parts of the KTIV viewing area right now. And all day today, it has been looking like it was going to be far southwestern Siouxland that stood the best chance of seeing the severe storms. Well, more of northeast Nebraska has been able to get in on the severe. As the day went along, the chances of severe started lifting farther and farther to the north. But as it's turning out, it is the southwestern sections of the KTIV viewing area really getting in on some of the strongest of storms right now. And that is what's going on as far as the upper Midwest, is this cluster of storms that is kind of the headline maker right now. And again, when I take off the radar data, you can see what a huge area we are talking about. And again, you can see the new part of that warning a little bit better right there, to be honest with you. And again, since I only said it once, I should kind of go through that severe thunderstorm warning once again. The new severe thunderstorm warning that is out is for southeastern Madison, northwestern Burt, southeastern Wayne, Cumming, as well as southwestern Thurston and Stanton counties, all under a severe thunderstorm warning that goes until 1:45. So it is a large area. Anywhere through there has the possibility, anyway, of seeing some 80-mile-per-hour winds that are coming down with these cells right now. And these got going pretty early in the day. We started seeing some of these storms during the afternoon, but they were mostly in the north central part of Nebraska at that time. Took them a long time to really get organized and get moving to the east. Everything kind of stopped when it would hit the Holt County area. It seemed like it had a hard time moving its way eastward. But now all of a sudden that has very much changed tonight, because that line of storms that we were just talking about, that's moving to the east at 75 miles per hour. It is going to be making its way across northeast Nebraska pretty quickly now. Columbus, it could be to the Columbus area by 1:30, just so you know. And I'm going to go ahead and put, if I can anyway, 75 miles per hour is moving pretty darn quickly. But I'm going to move this a little bit and see if we can put a storm track on this whole line, starting maybe near the Norfolk area and going down here to the east at 75 miles per hour. And here are some of the locations anyway to be concerned about. Tekamah, Nebraska, for example, it'd be a little ways down the line there, but 2:12 a.m. is when it could be to you. So, you know, those storms are quite a ways to the west of you right now in Tekamah, but think of that. By 2:12, it could already be to you. So that's a real good indication of how fast these are moving. Some of those other areas that you see there are just outside of the KTIV viewing region, like Columbus, Schuyler, as well as North Bend. But Tekamah is there, Blair, Nebraska. It could be to you by right around 2:22. I think Trevor has a different shot for us on our Norfolk cam, and it kind of gives us an idea of what the ground is looking like there with that very, very heavy rain coming down. So it is pretty much constant lightning in Norfolk as of right now, and you can see how heavy the rain is really coming down right now. If you are inside and watching me right now, and I would not be near the window. I know these storms are fascinating to watch and such, but my goodness, if these winds are coming at you at 70 and 80 miles per hour, that is enough, especially if you get some hail coming down with that. Windows can be broken out in this kind of a situation. So go ahead and get more to an interior part of your house, and if you can, and go ahead and get to the basement. I think that's a good idea, especially in that tornado warning area. You always want to move to an interior room on the lowest floor, getting away from windows. And in a situation like this, not a bad idea to get something over the top of you as well. Get under a heavy table or under a staircase, something like that, where you're going to be more protected if any flying debris is going on. That is always a very, very good idea. So that's the tornado warning area. And again, this severe thunderstorm warning area is very large right now across northeast Nebraska. That is the area moving to the east right now at 75 miles per hour that you were looking at right there. And these kinds of conditions are going to be continuing for a while, I got to be honest with you. The severe thunderstorm watch that is out there goes all the way until 5 a.m. And that does include Sioux City, although I think the majority of these severe storms are probably going to end up staying south of Sioux City specifically. This is a pretty good area of storms that we have ongoing. We can go ahead and take one more look here at the information coming in from the National Weather Service out of Omaha, Nebraska. They're the ones who have issued this severe thunderstorm warning, and they are not giving any more updates as far as the tornado part of it. And again, the last I was checking was that there was not a lot of rotation, just a little rotation going on. First, it was near the Madison, Nebraska area. Then kind of near Creston was showing up a little bit, and I'm going to go ahead and put a velocity scope on this. And remember, velocity scope is just telling us where the wind is and where the reds and greens are coming together. And what we're seeing there, that is just more straight line winds kind of that we're looking at. Maybe near Stanton, that's maybe a little more intriguing to look at there, where you're seeing a little bit of red and green coming together. So maybe a little rotation near the Stanton area, I would say. But when it's more this big, that looks like almost like a broad rotation. Well, what that is those gusty winds coming in from the west that are going to maybe cause some damage in some areas, of course. Let's go ahead and take a look at our Blackbird Bend Casino cam. I tell you what, we just missed a big lightning strike. That was a cloud to ground strike that came down. It's going to be a pretty impressive display, and you can see it there on the horizon. You're seeing the actual individual strikes coming down as opposed to Norfolk, Nebraska. It's just kind of one big lightning show going on. This we're seeing from off in the distance because these storms, again, not coming right at us here in Sioux City. They're going to stay probably just to the south and southwest of the Sioux City metro area anyway. But there is our Norfolk cam right there. Sheets of rain coming down. And again, at times it almost looks like a daytime there with the lightning just constantly striking. So you are getting in on a big thunderstorm there at this time. In fact, on radar, I'm going to go ahead and take this off. I'm going to zoom into the Norfolk area just to give you an idea of exactly how heavy the rain is there. You can see those red colors, but look how much deeper the red colors are a little bit farther down to the south. So that's the reason we're so concerned about that area and why there's concern about those 85-mile-an-hour winds continuing down there. I'm going to take the sweeping radar off one more time just so you can see that tornado warning that still is in effect for southeastern Madison as well as southwestern Stanton counties. That goes until 1:45, and that big severe thunderstorm warning that you see to the east of there, all those orange-colored counties, that's a severe thunderstorm warning, also only going until 1:45. That's a relatively short issuance of a warning, and I think it's because of how fast these storms are moving. I think the National Weather Service probably decided to issue it for a relatively short period of time and then go ahead and reissue once they need to, which is probably not a bad idea on their part because they need to be able to update this information, and that is one great way to do it. Taking a look at the National Weather Service here. Strongest winds seem to be right along Highway 91 right now, the National Weather Service out of Omaha is saying. And I'm going to go ahead and put the radar back on. So I'm going between two computers here when you hear me clacking the keyboard here. But I'm going to go ahead and get the radar back on here. And there is Sioux City. You can see why I'm saying that I think most of these storms are going to stay south of Sioux City because mostly they get up to about Wayne, Nebraska, and that is about it. I'm going to go ahead and put these into motion as well. So there you go. So this gives you an idea. There's Sioux City right there. There are the storms. These are moving to the east, southeast. I think we're finally going to get a little bit of rain out of this here in Sioux City, but again, the big storms are going on a little bit farther down to the south. And what's kind of nice is when you have this in the animation mode, you can see how fast these are moving. This only goes back 1 hour. We're just looking at the last hour of data right here. And look how far away 1 hour ago those cells were from places like Clarkson, Nebraska, for example, and how far they have come. So this is going to be getting into western Iowa probably in the course of about another hour or so, getting toward the Tacoma area. So these storms are on the move right now. And of course, sometimes the faster the storms move, the more velocity they can get going with the wind gusts as well. And again, the gusts have been reported to be as high as 84 miles per hour just outside the KTIV viewing area down in Boone County. And we too have heard reports anyway of possibly 70 to 80 mile per hour winds that have been possible in our viewing region as well. National Weather Service is continuing that severe thunderstorm warning that I've been telling you about. And again, it goes until 1:45. I'm going to go into the warning here and just see if they have any more information here for us. Dangerous storms, 80 mile per hour wind gusts, still a possibility. Penny-sized hail, still a possibility as well. And just remember, with those kinds of winds, you can have flying debris. It can down trees. Obviously, becomes a very, very dangerous situation. Wisner, Nebraska, you could be affected by this by about 1:40 a.m. And there's a great view. You know, we show you Doppler radar because that's how we can show you who is going to be impacted next. But what I love is how our Norfolk cam is showing you exactly what is going on and just how heavy the rain is, how vivid the lightning is, and again, those winds are very gusty. And if you weren't with us at the time, we were talking about Pierce, Nebraska. There was reports on social media of a possible power outage that had taken place there. And in Neely, Nebraska, trees were reported down as well. So these cells have a history of producing some damage, some power outages, and that's what's going to continue to work its way across northeast Nebraska for quite some time to come still. And just a reminder, there is still a severe thunderstorm watch in effect for a lot of the viewing area, all of northeast Nebraska. It does include us here in Sioux City. That's for Woodbury County until 5 a.m. But just based on everything that I've been seeing of what's going on right now and what the models indicate this stuff is going to do, it looks like the biggest of cells are going to stay south of the Sioux City metro area. But for now, Woodbury County is a part of this watch, and this watch does go on into western Iowa until 5 a.m. These storms basically started in the northeastern part of Nebraska, really north central Nebraska. Took them a long time to first evolve and get themselves going, but boy, once that cluster got going, it has really picked up speed now. And again, it's moving to the east at about 75 miles per hour. There is a tornado warning right there. I'm going to get the velocity scope back out and see if we see any good rotation. We had a little bit trying to take place near Stanton. Right there, I'm not seeing any real good rotation based on that. Again, there's some reds and greens together, but nothing that I'm overly concerned about from what I'm seeing right there. What's very hard is, spotters, when you're out in something like this, and it's nighttime, and there's a lot of wind, there's a lot of rain, it can be very, very hard to tell if there is a tornado out there or not. So we kind of rely more on Doppler radar this time of night because we just can't rely on storm spotters in this kind of a situation. And so we're continuing to check our velocity scope, and as of right now, not seeing any big time rotation taking place, but nevertheless, we're going to continue to watch that. I'm not sure what we have in channel 4 there, Trevor, but it looks like we have a pretty good lightning display on Vedestra channel 4. If you, that's the riverfront cam. Okay, so this is our riverfront cam. Kind of a cool view there. Our riverfront cam is right down by the Missouri River, so it is more on the ground than what a lot of our weather cams are, which are located higher on towers and such. And so you can see this incredible lightning display taking place from Sioux City. And that is looking at the storms making their way through northeast Nebraska at this time. As I said, I'm hoping we get some rain out of it, and the bad part is, you folks in northeast Nebraska that are getting the rain, you're unfortunately getting the really bad winds with it, which can actually cause more troubles than what the rain is benefiting, of course. So now we're going to go to our Norfolk cam. There is a view of the trees. You can see them waving in that wind. Look at the street behind it. You can see those sheets of rain just pelting down on the pavement. And just what you'd expect with really gusty winds. It looks like the rain's just kind of running across the roadway there. And then, of course, the big flashes of lightning. And our Norfolk cam has been giving us some amazing flashes of lightning through this entire thing. And there is the area of northeast Nebraska we're watching. So Norfolk, just there on the left-hand side of your screen, is just to the east there. As a matter of fact, it was down south of Norfolk near the Madison, Nebraska area where that tornado warning first started. And we've been watching this area right here with the possibility of a little bit of rotation near the Stanton area. So that's kind of the area we're looking at closest. But the National Weather Service, kind of seeing what I'm seeing, it looks like they have gone ahead and they've canceled the tornado warning a little bit early here because they too are not seeing much in the way of rotation. So the tornado warning, I'm happy to say, has been canceled. I'm going to go ahead and get that off the screen. Take a look at just the basic radar returns here. And overall, it just looks like that cell, not as intense. If you remember how deep those reds were there for a while, it's not looking quite as bad. We're going to look at the hail cores real quick, and those are not looking as bad. And again, the hail, not the big threat right now. For a while it was. We had some baseball-sized hail in north central Nebraska this afternoon, but that hail even is calming down. Maybe some penny-sized hail is going to be a possibility there. But again, it all comes down to the 85 mile per hour winds that were reported earlier in Boone County of Nebraska. 70, 80 mile an hour winds possible with any of these storms that you see right there as those storms move to the east at 75 miles per hour. So with the tornado warning being expired now and these storms continue to work their way onto the east, we're going to go ahead and go back to programming. Obviously, we're keeping a very close eye on this. We'll continue to do so. And if we have any further information to bring you, we'll certainly get on the air and do that. And obviously, we'll keep you updated on social media as well. So thank you for joining us, and we'll stay with you all night.